You get the email, the offer, the number on the scale, the thing you have been chasing for 3 years, and it finally, actually happens. You allow yourself exactly one night of celebration, and then, sometime around 2 a.m., lying awake in the dark, a very quiet and very unwelcome thought arrives. Is this it? You wait for the feeling you were promised. It does not come, and you tell no one, because how do you explain to anyone that getting everything you wanted feels almost exactly like getting nothing at all? You run the math in your head, over and over, trying to find your mistake. You worked for this. You sacrificed for this. You told yourself, more than once, on the hard days, that this exact moment would make all of it worth it. And now the moment is here, fully arrived, and instead of relief, there is a strange, flat quiet, and underneath the quiet, something closer to grief. If you have felt this, you have probably already met the 2 explanations everyone offers. Either you picked the wrong goal, or you are simply the type of person who can never be satisfied. Both of those explanations are wrong, and both of them keep you from the one that actually helps. Welcome back to Mind to Act. Today we're breaking down the real psychology of why achievement so often produces silence instead of joy, why this happens most to the people who achieve the most, and what to actually do about it once you understand the mechanism underneath it. Let's start with the name for what you experienced at 2 a.m., because it has one, and it is not a diagnosis of your character. Researcher Tal Ben-Shahar, who taught positive psychology at Harvard, coined a term for this exact moment: the arrival fallacy. It is the mistaken belief that reaching a valued goal will produce a lasting positive change in how you feel. Ben-Shahar's own path to naming it came from personal experience. He had been a nationally ranked squash player, convinced that winning the national championship would finally deliver the happiness he had been postponing for it. He won, and within days, the feeling was already gone, replaced by the same restless dissatisfaction he had felt before the win, just now with nothing left to blame it on. Here is what makes this more than one athlete's story. This pattern shows up consistently in research on major life achievements, and it hits hardest in exactly the population you would least expect. Not underachievers, overachievers. The people who set the highest bars are the ones most likely to stand at the top of them and feel almost nothing at all. Here's the part that changes everything. The emptiness is not a sign that the goal was wrong, and it is not a sign that you are incapable of happiness. It is your brain doing something it was built to do, extremely well and completely without your permission. Psychologists call the underlying mechanism hedonic adaptation. Every human brain is wired to return to a relatively stable baseline of well-being after both good and bad events. And it does this on purpose. If a genuine win permanently elevated your mood forever, you would eventually stop being driven to seek anything else. If a genuine loss permanently crushed you forever, you would eventually stop functioning at all. So the brain resets, quickly, quietly, and with zero regard for how much the achievement cost you to get there. Here's the simplest way to picture what's happening underneath. Imagine your sense of satisfaction as a thermostat, not a trophy case. A trophy case only ever fills up. Every achievement stays on the shelf, permanent, visible, adding up. That is what you expected happiness to be. But your actual internal system does not work like a trophy case. It works like a thermostat, calibrated to return to the same setting no matter what temperature briefly passes through the room. You can turn the heat up as high as you want for one incredible night. By morning, the thermostat has already started pulling the room back toward exactly where it was before. And it will keep doing that after every future win, too, for the rest of your life, unless you understand what it is actually measuring. So, how does this actually show up for high achievers specifically? Here are the signs. Sign 1. You start planning the next goal before you have even processed the current win. The email arrives, and within the hour, some part of your mind is already asking what comes after this. Not because you are ungrateful, because your thermostat has already started resetting, and forward motion is the only thing that has ever reliably distracted you from noticing the reset happening. Sign 2. You downplay the achievement immediately, out loud, to other people. Someone congratulates you and you hear yourself saying it was nothing, or anyone could have done it, or you got a little lucky. This is not modesty. Modesty is calm. This is discomfort, dressed as modesty, because some part of you does not know how to hold a win that does not feel like the win was supposed to feel. Sign 3. You remember the chase more fondly than the arrival. Ask yourself honestly which memory feels warmer, the late nights grinding toward the goal, or the actual day you got it. For a lot of high achievers, it is the grind, every time. And that is not nostalgia. That is your brain accurately reporting that the wanting produced more sustained engagement than the having ever did. Sign 4. You feel a specific, quiet guilt about not feeling happier. You know rationally that people would kill for what you just achieved. You know you are supposed to feel grateful, thrilled, complete. Instead, you feel flat, and then you feel guilty about feeling flat, which stacks a second layer of bad feeling directly on top of the first one, for a crime you did not actually commit. Sign 5. You suspect, secretly, that the next goal will finally be the one that sticks. This time it will be different. This next promotion, this next relationship milestone, this next number on this next scale, that one will actually deliver the lasting feeling the last one failed to produce. This belief survives every single piece of evidence against it, because the alternative, that no future achievement is going to fix this, is too disorienting to sit with for long. Sign 6. You cannot enjoy the achievement in the present tense. You can talk about it in the past tense, as a story. You can imagine talking about it in the future, to someone impressed by it. What you cannot do is simply sit inside the moment itself, right now, and feel satisfied by it while it is actually happening. The achievement only seems to exist properly once it has become a memory or an anticipation, never while it is the present. Now here's the part that matters most, the part almost nobody says out loud. None of this means you set the wrong goals. It does not mean you are broken, greedy, or incapable of contentment. It means you built your entire strategy for happiness on a model of the mind that was never accurate in the first place, the trophy case model, when your actual mind has always run on the thermostat model. You were never failing to feel satisfied. You were succeeding at an approach that was mathematically never going to produce satisfaction, no matter how well you executed it. So what does this actually cost you, if you never learn the difference? It costs you the present, over and over, because you spend the only moment you are actually alive in, right now, either grinding toward a future reset or grieving a past one. It costs you your relationship to your own effort, because if achievement itself can never deliver, the only thing left to chase is more achievement, faster, which is a treadmill with no exit sign. And it costs you the ability to trust your own success, because a mind that resets after every win eventually starts to wonder if any win was ever real, when the truth is, every one of them was. Your thermostat is simply doing exactly what thermostats do. So how do you actually work with this, instead of quietly resenting your own brain for it? 3 principles. Principle 1. Move your attention from the destination to the process, deliberately, before you arrive. If the arrival always resets, then the chase is not the price you pay for the goal. The chase is where almost all of the actual felt experience of the goal was ever going to happen. Start treating the process itself as the thing worth designing well, not merely enduring, because it turns out to be the only part your thermostat was never going to erase. Principle 2. Separate the achievement from your identity before you get there. If reaching the goal means proving something about who you are, the reset will feel like losing that proof, which is a much deeper loss than simple disappointment. Let the achievement be something you did, not evidence for who you are, and the thermostat resetting stops being able to touch your sense of self at all. Principle 3. Practice staying inside the moment on purpose, especially the good ones. This is the hardest one, and also the most direct fix, because the arrival fallacy specifically targets your ability to be present in success. So build a small, deliberate habit around every win, however minor. Stop, physically pause, name specifically what happened and how your body feels right now, before your mind is allowed to move on to the next target. You are training a muscle most high achievers have never used, the muscle of simply being where you already are. There's an old idea, often traced back to various wisdom traditions, that suffering comes not from failing to get what you want, but from believing that getting it would end the wanting. High achievers rarely hear this version of the idea, because it sounds like it is arguing against ambition itself, and it is not. Ambition is not the problem. The trophy case was never the problem. The problem was only ever the quiet, unexamined belief that arrival was supposed to feel different from every other moment of your life, when the actual gift, the whole time, was simply being able to notice this moment, whichever one you happen to be standing in. So tell me, out of the 6 signs we covered today, which one is the closest description of your own last win? Tell me in the comments. And know this: if you have ever achieved something enormous and felt almost nothing, it does not mean the achievement was empty. It means your brain did exactly what brains are built to do, and nobody ever warned you it would happen at the exact moment you least expected to need the warning. If this video finally explained a silence you have never had words for, hit like and share it with someone who just hit a huge goal and has been quietly wondering, in private, why it doesn't feel the way they thought it would. Subscribe to Mind to Act so we can keep decoding the hidden corners of the mind together. Goodbye, and see you next time.